Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen with a quick summary of last week's news and a quite a meaty dev response talking about some improvements coming to Alpha 3.18 and some bugs being fixed and all that sort of jazz. So let's start off with a quick summary of last week. Inside Star Citizen showed us some updates coming to Alpha 3.18. There's going to be a load of new prison gameplay at Klesha, allowing for missions to come in from outside sources. Players are going to be able to hunt down each other as part of missions, and there are going to be NPCs in the mining tunnels too, as well as being reasons to find stashes and bring items back to the prison proper. Security Post Korea is also getting a ton of updates. It's going to be an active security post teeming with turrets and guards. It will also be the only place that you can hack down your crime stat, and they're removing it from bunkers, the ability to do that. So literally the only place to do it. Taking out security forces at Security Post Korea will spawn a security chief that will run around the facility, and if you take them out, they have codes for accessing the terminals there, and you'll be able to then operate the confiscated goods dispenser. Basically, it's giving you a little slice of Jumptown's gameplay, as it will dispense some goods every so often, and those goods can be of very high value, but they'll be illegal items, so picking them up is a naughty thing. Players will get missions to deal with criminals attacking the security at SPK, so bear that in mind, and the plan is to make that area a really big hot zone for PvP and criminal activity. Star Citizen Live had a really juicy episode on ship and feature updates. I recommend you watch my dedicated video on that down below, as it goes over what ships they're working on, and plans for engineering and sort of power relays and load of stuff that was really great to hear. The ship showdown is currently on, and it's in its first phase. That's coming to an end on the 29th of August. The top 16 most popular currently flyable ships and vehicles in-game will then face off against each other in the next phase, starting on the 31st. The sneak peek this week from the newsletter was of a lovely vent in what is probably a colonial outpost. So it's just a vent, it's just some little assets in the walls and things of colonial outposts. Right, let's look at this big old dev response. There was a thread. I spent my Saturday evening playing my first and last derelict mission. I think I'm done now. So, the original poster shared a very sped up video of the player basically going through a derelict mission and their experiences of various issues throughout. They fill up an immersive rover with boxes, then they load it onto a constellation, and the player gets clipped and backroomed through the floor at the end through the planet. It just falls into the infinity. Not a great experience. However, there was a big dev response to this from CIG's Mintariri? Something like that. Mintariri. That I don't know, silly name. Principal ship technical artist, though, that's what they do, who answered a load of questions and interacted with the community on that thread. A lot. They interacted a lot. So, in response to the original poster, they said, "Hi, lead ship tech art here. Thank you for posting this video. 1. I wasn't aware that the corners of the Connie Bay caused players to fall through the terrain. This can happen if the gravity box is a little too large. I'll fix this for 3.18.0. 2. Dropped cargo in rover going through the floor. This could be gravity volume, floor collision, or desync or zone issues. I'll check the gravity and collision. Desync is being worked on by the engine team. 3. Can't get into the rover side door at a tilt. I'll check the collision around the entrance. Perhaps I can widen the opening a little to make it easier. 4. Exiting the rover seat can trap you or pops you out the top. This one is known and has been around for a while. The issue is we haven't been able to trigger the door opening when you exit the pilot and co-pilot seat, which leads to these issues. Recent item state work has opened up some new setup options, and a designer is already looking at the rover door to see if the seat and door connection can be made now. So there's lots of quality of life issues for vehicles in ships for that constellation, and that rover being able to be more usable within each other and be more successful when you're trying to do missions with them. But the dev then followed up with update for 3.18.0. I have fixed all the constellation cargo bays, so the gravity box will no longer cause you to fall through the floor around the corners. The rover side entrance collision has been adjusted to make it easier to enter when the rover is tilted. Retaliator will no longer trap the pilot on exiting the seat. Collision has been adjusted. I will follow up on other issues that were mentioned. Cheers. So, this is really great to hear, and is actually in response to some other questions and answers throughout the thread. So the dev is actually taking a really hands-on approach here and going through issues that players are seeing and trying to fix as many of them as possible for 3.18. So there were some other sort of questions and answers in this thread. Why not put a button on the rover cockpit ceiling to keep it away from the seats? He responded, it's more that there is a delay when the door opens, and so character collision bounces around the cockpit after a seat exit. If it was one seat, then we could tie it to the door animation so it opens as it exits, but since there are two seats, it requires items to have logic and connect them. If we put a door button above your head, that would be a solution, but I'm not sure many players would think to open the door first. We're very close to having the tech to solve these seat issues, which will help the rover, Reliant, and a few other situations. So it's really great there to hear that they're actually getting some tech improvements that will just solve that sort of stuff for the future. Less bugs overall is good. There was a follow-up question as well. Any chance you could fix the known issue with the rafts elevator? With the response being, I spent a few days looking into the rafts elevator already. What I found was that when the elevator is not attached to the ship, it works normally. But when the elevator is attached to the ship, it can't be interacted with. I tore down the raft and elevator completely, yet could not find anything that makes this particular elevator different. So I've written up my findings and an engineer is looking into it now, but not sure when that will be solved. So we've got more questions here. Are there going to be fixes to the internals and furniture on the Constellation? We will definitely want to fix the table, but we will want to wait until we have gold standard connies because there are several things we need to address, like component access and food station metrics. The underside of the Constellation bed is a known issue. The bottom polys are actually part of the exterior right now, and it will get cold at certain angles. This is another gold standard issue we intend to address along with making the table and component passes. So it does appear that actually a lot of ships are going to get a lot of fixes and tweaks once they get their gold standard pass, once they get their ship updated for all the component access, for power relays, for all this sort of jazz that they are working on at the moment. Physical components, obviously something that they will get in after that too. Really excited for physicalized components. Why do some loot boxes clip through or disappear when placed on ships? The response here being, that's an interesting one. When the loot box crosses into a ship's zone and then fails to switch back to the planet's zone, it can fall through. Boxes can disappear because the first-person camera is still in a portal that crosses the doorway. Often, if you walk a bit further inside a ship, you will notice a box reappearing. This is typically engine and physics issues, though. Once we put in server meshing, we'll be circling back and fixing various issues like this. There were still questions and answers going on in that thread, which I will link down below. But I just thought it was fantastic how interactive that dev was. It was awesome to see, and I hope there's a lot more of that in the future. In some other news, Bar Citizen events at Gamescom. So if you're at Gamescom in Germany on the 25th and 26th of August, so that's the Thursday and Friday, starting at 7 PM local German time, they are going to the Brewhaus Omennamen. There will be CIG attendees there, so bear in mind the venue has a limited capacity of 100 people. I also want to know if anyone this Friday, so Friday the 26th, Saturday the 27th of August, is going to be at I-69, I-Series in Birmingham at the NEC there, because me and Zinnia are going to be there, and I'll be social. So I might do a little tiny mini Bar Citizen event or just a meet up with people that are around there that want to go for a drink at some point. Drop me a message on Discord or in the comments below and I'll try and find you and we'll get in contact if possible. Metrics for the Siege of Orison. So Cloud Imperium are sending emails out to some players about their performance at the Siege of Orison, but it's quite often the wrong metrics. It's typical, but Cloud Imperium are going to be sending you cool little stats and personal debriefs for events in the future, it seems, which I am actually quite excited about. I like sort of interactivity like that. There was a thread as well talking about people's favourite ships that aren't part of the ship showdown. So basically ships that are in production or concept ships but aren't fireable. And I actually quite like the idea of that to some extent. So I'm thinking about, in the future, running my own BoredGamer Star Citizen Ship Awards with different categories later in the year. So best concept ship, most popular flyable ship, best vehicle, things like that. And then basing some giveaways around those. In fact, we could actually expand that out to just a general awards ceremony to best organisation and things like that. We could do a little award ceremony at the end of the year. Why not? Why not do a little silly thing that's BoredGamery, which doesn't really mean anything, but it's a nice community thing. Tell me what you think about that in the comments below. And that's it for your video today. Are you excited by some of those improvements coming to 3.18? Lots of gameplay-based stuff there with Security Post-Career and prison updates. Are you looking forward to the ship showdown and the next phase? What ships do you think, or vehicles, or both, do you think will make it to the top 16? Do you like it when devs take time to respond to forum and Reddit threads and chat about things that they're fixing and actually take a hands-on approach to fixing problems that players are experiencing now? I do. I thought that was absolutely amazing, and obviously they can't do it all the time and it's in much detail, but there's a lot of CIG devs that are pretty interactive on forums and things, and they go out of their way to interact with the community, and I think that's an awesome thing, especially when it leads to very, very viewable sort of updates to the game. You go, oh, that's pretty cool. But whatever your thoughts, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. You're on a plane, it's about to crash. Maybe you're in a jungle and a vicious predator attacks. There's a nuclear war and you're caught short on the toilet. You're drowning in shark-infested waters. How did you get here? What do all these scenarios have in common? That's right, easily preventable with the use of nordvpn.com/BoredGamer. It's like the ultimate survival toolkit, but to aid in internet security and accessibility. Now I can watch my favourite Netflix and anime shows from a different country while I'm lost in the rainforest just before a tiger eats me. Thanks nordvpn.com/BoredGamer. You can get discounts by using the links below. But please note that probably in the case of a plane crash or, you're drowning, NordVPN might not be the most effective solution. Every month we have a Star Citizen ship giveaway. This month we're giving away an RSI Scorpius heavy fighter. This 2-seater powerful heavy fighter allows you to pretend you're in Star Wars with your X-Wing. It comes with a lifetime insurance and access to Star Citizen, so even if you haven't got a Star Citizen account already, you can play the game. To be in for a chance of winning that, just comment on any of my videos made during August. A massive thank you to everyone that subscribed to the channel or just watches my content or comments and likes and shares those videos. It really genuinely does help. And if you want to go the extra mile to help support the channel, you can click on the join button under any of my videos or click on the links to Patreon. It all goes a huge way to help the channel grow and expand. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great time in Alpha 3.17.2 and I hope to see you in the verse.